Hello everyone, my name is Pooja. Today's date is 17 May. Today's video topic name is exception handling in a Java. Let's see the hierarchy of exception handling. Throwable throwable is a superclass and the child class having error and exception. So first is a throwable. Throwable is a subclass of object class and the throwable is the superclass of error and exception. So first is an error. Error is a serious problem which occurs due to the lack of system resources. It occurs at a runtime. It is an unchecked and irrecoverable. Means if an error is occurs, then we cannot handle or we cannot check at the compile time or runtime because it is a serious problem and we cannot handle that and we cannot recoverable. That's why it is a serious problem. For example, stack overflow error, accession error, virtual machine error, out of memory or stack overflow error, etc. Next is an exception. Exception is an unwanted, unexpected event which interrupt the normal flow of the program. It is an just object which thrown at the runtime. Exception which break the current or which break the current program and throws the exception. So there is a two types of exception: check exception and uncheck exception. So first is a check exception. Check exception check at the compile time. For example, if any method throw the exception, check exception, then it will be handled by using try or catch block, or or that declare the exception or declare that check exception using throws keyword. Otherwise, the program will be give the compilation error like IO exception, SQL exception, interrupted exception, etc. Second is an uncheck exception. Uncheck exception does not check at the compile time. Uncheck exception, that type of exception which does not handle at the compile time. So for example, array index out of bound, arithmetic exception, index out of bound, string index out of bound, that type of exception are the uncheck exception. So we can handle the exception at the compile time using try catch block and throws. So first is the try catch block or try block. Uh, Try block contains the number of statements and where the exception will be occur. Try block must be follow the catch block or finally block. So next is a catch block. Catch block follow the try block and it handle the exception which occur the associated try block. For example, try uh, there is an array int a is equal to in a bracket 10 20 30 40 and we have to print a of 100. So it's throw an exception like array index out of bound exception. So we have to handle that exception. That's why we have to put that code in a try block and a catch block we have to handle that exception like catch in a bracket exception e and see. So there is some error. So in our console there is a print message that there is some error, not an exception. Next is a multiple catch block. A single try block follow the several multiple catch block. When an exception is occur in a try block, then the particular catch block will be executed. Uh, when an exception is occurs in a try block, then the associated catch block will be executed. For example, try in that system.out.println 5 divided by 0. So this is an arithmetic exception. So in that we have to catch array index out of bound exception e. Array index out of bound catch in string index out of bound exception ae, print string index out of bound exception catch in a bracket arithmetic exception a, print arithmetic exception. So the whatever which exception will be occurs, then that particular catch block will be executed. That's why output will be the its arithmetic exception will be occur. Next is a finally block. Finally block is used when an important code will be executed. For example, database closing connection, etc. Finally block is always been executed whether the try catch block is execute or not. Finally block follow the try catch block or follow the try block. Whether the exception is handled or not. Whether the exception is handled or not, finally block is always been executed. For example, try uh, uh, CISO 5 by 0 and catch exception catch arithmetic exception E CISO arithmetic exception. Finally in that print welcome. So whether the try catch block exception is handled or not, finally so welcome is output is confirmed because finally block is always been executed. So next is the throw keyword. Throw keyword which is used to throw an exception. It can be either check or uncheck exception. The throw keyword is mainly used for the throw and custom exception. The syntax is throw new in a bracket arithmetic exception. For example, arithmetic exception 5 by 0. As like we have to declare the exception using throw keyword. But you cannot throw the multiple exception at a time. Next is the throws keyword. Throws keyword is used to declare the exception uh, that may occur during the program execution. Throw is used with the method signature. Uh, Throw is mainly used to handle the check exception. Syntax is void add throws exception. In that print hi welcome. Throws keyword is mainly used with the method signature to declare an exception. You can declare the multiple exception at a time.